Hey guys, welcome. This will be a little showcase of my Clara Comp for Forgotten Halls, or rather Memories of Chaos. This one is at floor 7, the first wave. And then second was Zele, which I'm not going to show because it's just Zele with the hunt buff, so you guys can expect what to expect with Zele. But with Clara Comp, I don't have any buffs from the Memory of Chaos, so there's no 50%. I don't know what they're going to do with like other class buffs, but you guys get the idea with Clara, right? Marge is here to buff Clara so they can hit her more often, and then Clara's technique to have her be the highest chance to be targeted, and then obviously her ult gives her more chance to be targeted, right? And you can see from here that, oh yeah, I don't need to do much and she's just doing crazy amounts of damage. But it's very simple, it's really easy, and my Clara is not whaled out yet. It's not maxed by any means. She's still at E0 with just her artifact, her comb. And then yeah, I'm just literally buffing her up and keeping her alive as much as I can. Now for floor 7 specifically, the last stage of this entire first floor is 2 frozen, I forgot their names already, but 2 mobs that like to do a lot of AoE damage and has chances of freezing you, making it a great place for Clara to basically counter because it's always AoE and sometimes single target damage. But just be wary that the freeze chance can ruin the run, because if you get unlucky and they freeze, say like your Bailu or your Tinyun or your Marge for example, or even Clara, it can kind of mess up the DPS because your only DPS in this entire comp is Clara. For me in the future, I think when more Harmony type of units or another DPS that I like that is released, I would most likely replace, say, March and make Clara my sub DPS damage dealer. So meaning she'll be mostly a tank while having some uptime on damage whenever she can. But she's still strong as of right now, as you can probably tell by the amount of counters she's applying, and it's not even my turn as much. So it's kind of crazy. And yeah, like Tinyun, if you have her, by all means use her. She's really good with Clara, giving her as much ult time as she possibly can. And if you don't have, say, Bronya's light cone for Tinyun, you can use anything that just applies damage and just be good enough as it is. And that's basically it for the comp. So now we're at the last stage, right? And this is where it gets a little crazy. I have to log out on whether or not I can keep Clara from being frozen majority of the time. But we'll see from this run. So Tinyun is going to buff my Clara, right? And that's like almost half of her all ready to go. She's gonna counter, gain some back, and then they're gonna do their typical thing. And they're gonna hit Clara again, which is good. And then she gets more energy. And they're going for AoE the next time they move. So I'm just gonna get out my ult. And then Bailu is just gonna do Bailu things whether I want to attack. Most likely I'm gonna attack just to get some SP. And then Marge is gonna shield my Clara. Even though it's gonna be AoE for both sides, it doesn't really matter. I just want to keep her alive. I can even shield Marge. Right, so the AoEs come down. My Tinyun's frozen, which sucks. And then I'm gonna heal just to make sure I don't die, because if you don't know, my Tinyun plus Marge are low level. Like Tinyun just finally hit 70 and capped to 80, but I have not lowered her up to 80 yet. And my Marge is like 50. But you'll see in my stats. And then Bailu got frozen. Luckily I survived the entire AoE because that was madness. But as you can tell, like their entire HP pool is pretty low thanks to Clara's full counter enhance. And I'm gonna do their AoE again, and Clara just counters, and then have her all back up again. And then he hits, I kill. But basically, yeah. Simple. And now we're on to the last stage for floor 8 first wave, and it's very similar to floor 7 first wave, except that it's just one of the ice guy plus the lady that likes to force you to do a specific thing as interaction. So for example, if she puts, say, a basic attack as disabled or something, then you can't use your basic attack on her, otherwise she will counter. But in this case, it's a really good thing because Clara would like to get hit, right? She doesn't mind if she bypasses, say, her things, because she wants that regen that she gets from a counter. So, which is good. And then the mob, the other mob, the ice mob, likes to do a lot of AoE, so obviously this is perfect for Clara to deal with overall. And then you basically get the idea of the comp. The comp is just making Clara do all this nonsense damage on counters, especially her in-hands counters, right? So I'm going to heal here with Bailu. The guy's going to do that AoE ice, Clara counters. You can see their HP starting to trickle down just from my counters alone, and I'm not having another DPS here, so it's pretty funny. And then Clara here is going to force her to counter, like I said, and then she's going to counter back just for more regen. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of regen, so otherwise she'll basically have roll back up, but hey, good enough. Marge is just going to shield at this point, I believe. Yeah, so she's going to shield my Clara. And then Tinyun probably going to basic attack because I don't need to do anything crazy right now. Bailu, same thing. And then once the guy does another AoE, which is good for Clara's going to AoE. And then she has her ult back up, so she's going to ult again. And then the lady's going to do some weird shenanigans. I don't know what, but take a counter. No buffs. And then Marge just for some minor damage. It's not really anything crazy, right? Counter. I counter back. And so she's going to prevent me from using skill, which is fine. I'm just going to use my skill anyway. But too bad she gets broken, which is okay. It was whatever. They're almost dead anyway. You can see that I still have enough turns for the next stage, rather 4, which is my Zele comp, of course. And there should be a breeze from there because it's the hunt buff and Zele does Zele things, right? So very simple. And at this point, yeah, you guys get the idea, so I will show you the stats now. So these are my current up-to-date Clara stats after I hit Trailblazer 60. So I managed to get at least 51% crit rate. Finally, I've been trying to farm crit rate for her for the longest time now. Just trying to get crit rate here because the crit damage piece was the most painful one. But as long as I have 50% crit rate, I have the effect of the 2Ps inner Solasso or something. Solato, whatever. So that means I have 15% more increase on my follow-up, which is basically what you want. I have her light cone. You don't need it if you don't have this light cone. This one works perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be like where it's at right now. Like this one's okay for the most part. You're only really benefiting from her basic or her skill, but it's really not going to do much. So if you have this, you can use this. I think that's all I really have. Oh, I have also this one, but this one's like whatever. So I think in the future there's going to be a better Lycomb coming, which I think is Blade's Lycomb, which offers crit rate. I could be wrong, but if it offers crit rate, I will replace this one for Blade's Lycomb in the future. This is just speculation, but this is nice. It's not crazy, to be quite honest. So this is easily replaceable for her in the future. But anyway, these are her stats. Like I said, I don't have E6, still base 0. And her traces, the priority max is obviously her ultimate plus her talent. You can max her AoE if you like, it's good. You don't need to go crazy on it. And then her basic, you don't have to max out. But for me, I want to max out Clara because I want to. But these two are priorities, right? These two are the main priorities for Clara. And that's about it. And everyone else, Bailu, you don't need her Lycomb. If you have, say, Quid works fine. Also, Share Feeling works fine. Post-op Conversation also is fine. Any of these is just fine, as long as she just has enough healing, right? Because the later floors you do want a lot of sustain. So as much sustain she can get is beneficial. This is okay. It's not consistent damage because majority of the time Clara is not the one proccing it. Sometimes it's Bailu, sometimes it's Tinyun, so it's really inconsistent output damage. But it's just nice for Bailu to have more healing. So any of these is just fine, right? As for traces, I have not been investing my Bailu, okay? Her relic, I'm just using whatever leftover relics. So like you can see, this is just basically leftover stuff that I have when I was farming for Zele's gear. But that's really, you can do whatever. You don't have to run her healer set. It's not mandatory. It's nice to have the +1, but that's really all it's going to give you, plus a little bit more healing. Not mandatory. Just put on whatever and she'll do fine. Same thing, E0. That's about it for my Bailu. Not Zele, but my Tinyun. For Tinyun, I'm trying to speed max. I'm trying to optimize her speed because I do have Brian's Lycone here, right? And I want to make March go after Bailu, but not after Tingyun, right? I want Bailu and Tingyun to go first, but I just need to do more speed optimization. But anyway, Bronya's Light Cone, you don't need to use this. Like I said, you can use, if you have this from BP, you bought like $5, you can use this on her, which is fine. I think, what else is good for you guys? This is okay. This is, again, this is the same as Bronya, except you have to speed tune properly just to give it to, say, Clara, who's very slow, keep that in mind. So you have to optimize that, especially when you run Tingyun on a set that I have her with, which is, again, the Shunzo Luofu Celestial Arc, which gives 8% team-wide stackable 8% attack. So you have to keep Tingyun at 120, or you can keep her less because of her Nourish Joviality, whatever. This increases her speed by 20% more, and so you can cut out the speed boots for, say, like an HP or attack percent. As long as it's 120 speed, it's good enough, right? And that's basically my Tingyun. She's not finished. She's still missing like 10 levels. I will need more attack on her. Her traces, I prioritize her skill, of course, and her ultimate. Those are your priorities. As for this is nice. You don't need to max it out all the way. It's not that crazy of a damage, but it's good enough if you want to do that. Then yeah, she's still a work in progress for the most part. But these two are your priorities, and then your talent if you want. And then her Eidolons, if you pull on Jinyu Man, you should have at least E4 or E6, depending on your luck. Mine is, of course, E6. I did not pull on Jinyun's banner, I pulled on Zayle's banner. And I got a bunch of Tingyuns from there, even though she was not outbreak. But yeah, E6. She doesn't have to E6. E6 is good though, if you can. But yeah. And then the last one I used was March. And oh boy, March. Mine is level 50. Okay, don't judge. I'm not a resource. But March, I just have her on her Light Cone just to increase the amount of damage resistance by like 12%. Don't have to run this, like I said. You can run. You don't want to run this, obviously, but you can run something like this if you need, just for some tick damage. If you like, if you have it. You can also run this. Like, there's just a lot. You don't want to run anything that increases the chance for March to get targeted, because you specifically want Clara to get targeted. So anything that's defensive while doing some cool damage output, like Trend of the Universal Market, that's good enough, right? As for traces, not much investment. Like I said, my March is like just there. Her relic slapped on whatever. You don't have to go crazy with this set, because I'm being more stamina efficient with my relic grinding. I'm only investing into my DPS. This set here, the Knights Forgiving Cask Head or whatever, you get that from leveling up anyway. So you get the head and the chest piece from just leveling up your Trailblazer level, and then everything else I just lap on whatever. So not optimized obviously, but good enough. I just looking for the stats. Eidolons, again, I got lucky with her, but I don't really care. Don't need her any of her cons, it's whatever. At the end of the day, she's just there to basically apply her skill for Clara. Where's her skill? That's really all there is to it, and that's really it. And that's basically my first comp I've been using from 1 through 8. I did not clear 8 though. The reason I didn't clear 8 is because, actually no, the reason I didn't clear 8 right now, as you can see, is because my Zayla comp, she died here. Because I was running, so for my second comp, you're wondering, I was running Japar, Zayla, Welt, and Asta. Right? That's what I was running. As you can tell, my Asta and my Welt both level 50. Japar's not even like limit broken to 80 or anything. And Zayla's only DPS. This does its job, they survive. It was just bad RNG for the most part, because this mob here, the Trampler, they tend to apply stuns and their charge up, so I got really unlucky with the RNG of who's getting hit, and Zayla got hit too much because Japar is close with Zayla. I would love to move Zayla over to the far end so she doesn't die. The issue is because my Welt and my Asta are under leveled and that does not have a lot of HP, they will die a lot. I'm trying to not have the down characters, but I can easily clear the second one as long as Zayla's alive and everyone else is also cooking. But just a little bit more investment and should be good to go. As for 9 and 10s, I'll probably another day or something. I really don't care if I don't max it out. This is good enough as it is. But yeah, that's basically it. Like, if you are struggling, the recommended floors for Clara, if you don't know, like I said, she's good here on first floor because she likes to do a lot of crazy things that Clara doesn't mind, doesn't care, and she just counter, right? So floor 1 and first floor is fine. For floor 2, I think not here. You can put Clara here in Stormbringer and it will give you the same output. The reason I don't want to put Clara in the second one is because of Grizzly. I don't remember if Grizzly was on the last stage or the second stage, but if Grizzly is here, the reason you don't want to put Clara with Grizzly is Grizzly likes to do a lot of charge and spawns, and the spawns that he does are really bad because they self-destruct, so Clara can't counter and she just takes free damage. And then Grizzly doesn't do a lot of attack inputs, so when he does do the charge, you have to wait another turn, so it's turn delay and Clara's not going to be able to be efficient in that. So you don't want slow, inefficient mobs to do random things and waste turns, right? But if it was just Direwolf here, you can put Clara against 2 Direwolves and be fine. And then I think for stage 3, any of these 2 are fine because they do like to do a lot of AoEs and other nonsense. So any of these stages here, you can put the Clara Comp in any of them. And if you still don't know what the Clara Comp is, it's just a healer plus Clara plus buffer, specifically Tinyun, and then March. You don't even need March here if you don't want. Like Tinyun alone just gives you enough to work with, and then you can replace March in the future, or for like another sort of optimal buffer stuff, for example. Or if you have Brian, you can put Brian, the same thing, hyper carry, it will work, it would just do its job. Clara is there to do all the damage, right? And then I think for stage 4, same thing, Clara first wave, and then second one, just bring your best DPS output. And then floor 5 and 6, 5, same thing. This one you do not want Clara, you want Clara here again. 6, you want Clara, I think, here. Right, Clara is best at the second one. Bronya doesn't like to do a lot of crazy stuff, so you do not want to put the Clara Comp at the first one. And then 7, again, 7 will be the first one for Clara. Second one, you don't want Clara because of Grizzly. Oh, and Grizzly is on the last stage and it does waste a lot of time, so don't do that. I tested it out myself. And then 8, you pretty much get the idea. Clara first one, or Clara second one too. It works the same way, except just keep in mind that the stun energy is kind of painful the higher you go because of the higher level. And then I haven't done 8 or 9, so I mean 9 or 10 yet, so I'll probably do that another day. But that's really about it. So if you have any questions about the Clara Comp or anything related to Star Rail, just leave it in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them. And yeah, that's really about it. So take care, everybody. Bye.